My formative years were spent in a multi-generational family. The defining story of my family was that of my great-grandfathers. Bubonic plague had devastated his town of Baranpur in India in the early 1900s. He lost 9 siblings and a mother over a 48-hour period. He had to flee with his father. As you can imagine, I grew up sensitized to stories of displacement and loss. He rose up from the ashes, so to say, rebuilt his family, kept them tightly knit under one roof, even as it grew to multiple children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. He role modeled how to integrate, assimilate, innovate, and inspire. It is for us to transform our pain, he said, rather than transmit it. I grew up with a healthy combination of pride and the onus to live up to this mighty survival story. These words pretty much shaped who I became. Like most women, I juggled roles. I was a granddaughter, the apple of my father's eye, married to my childhood sweetheart, raising 3 children while being an engineer, an artist, and an activist. I enjoyed age-appropriate achievements, a few rewards and recognition as well. But I also experienced pain, I experienced disappointments, I experienced loss. Each of these labels created a solid sense of self inside of me, a self that needed a constant reassurance and validation of its worth and direction. As if I weren't advancing, I was moving backwards. A self that needed to do more, be more, have more, but not being quite good enough. That's when I woke up to the immense power of storytelling. And the most formidable one was of my own inner narrative. And I realized instinctively that if I didn't pay close attention to parts that needed repair, to parts that needed healing, I would transmit my insecurities, my feelings of inadequacies on those who I loved the most. I tried my hand at multiple things. My garage became my workspace. I practiced the discipline of showing up every day. I wrote, I sketched, I sculpted. My driveway became my canvas. I painted on all kinds of surfaces, school benches, furniture, even willing humans. This is how I first learned to relinquish control, embrace chaos, and celebrate imperfection. I pushed the limits of my practicality and functionality. I climbed ladders, I climbed scaffolding, even forklifts. But what I was actually doing was reprogramming my brain in baby steps by challenging set mental limits. I went big, then bigger. I displayed my art in unconventional galleries, public parks, buildings, and from cranes over construction sites. I played with different media, stone, tile, even broken tile. Spontaneous line drawings became carved wooden blocks that embellished contemporary fabric. Paintings became fashion. Self-portraits became sweatshirts. Poetry became woven jacquard. I cured, I embroidered, and I colored live fabric that I grew out of kombucha tea. Now I know it appears like I was all over the place, chaotic, but for the first time, actually, I started to feel sane. In using my hands, my sense of touch, I was able to move the attention of my mind away from itself into the background. And what used to be glimpses of quiet became longer and longer stretches. I had discovered a tool. And in this world where none of us will be spared pain or loss, having a tool in our back pocket has no downside. Because the reality is that hurt people hurt people. Inadvertently or unconsciously, knowingly or unknowingly, the consequences become cumulative. A gift from having discovered this tool was that now I actually had something concrete that I could share with an entirely different community that was experiencing the same stories of displacement and loss as my ancestors. When I encountered the fear and anxiety of Afghan mothers in overcrowded refugee tents in Greece, I offered them needle and yarn. In using their hands and making me beautiful crocheted flowers, they found relief as well as purpose. In turn, their flowers brought their stories to thousands of people, thousands of miles away through this installation called A Common Thread. Unaccompanied minors who have already been traumatized by their impossibly difficult journeys trying to find refuge become easy targets to human traffickers as well as drug dealers. Paper and color gave them an alternate avenue to express their frustration, rebuild trust, learn to receive love, and reduce self-destructive behavior. Their stories, the stories of the unaccompanied minors, inspired this museum piece called Love is the Answer. A film I produced just last week premiered at Sundance. Fremont is a narrative of love to overcome the narratives of fear around displaced humans trying to rebuild their homes, their lives in an alien land. These are a few examples where creativity, storytelling, and purpose came together to help alleviate the pain of either individuals or communities. When we see beauty, when we experience wonder, when we feel awe, we create room for transformation. The same awe as when we see dancing weeds, bison succulents, or baby spiders. Our mind gives us structure, knowledge, and 1,000 ways to resist what is, and hence struggle. But if we teach our mind to move its attention away from itself, we can reduce our sense of self. We can lower the power that our mind has in playing games with us. The true power of creativity, I found, is its ability to unleash purpose. And armed with that purpose, each of us can transform whatever pain it is that inflicts us so we don't transmit. Thank you.